Well, wish me luck. Oh my goodness. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we are going to be reviewing the all-new Tesla Model S Plaid, and I will finally get a chance to drive the new Model S Plaid, which is going to be pretty crazy, a little bit nerve-wracking because it just snowed, and so yeah, we'll see what happens. But anyways, a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover here in downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Model S Plaid. They have this one for sale right now. It actually has a full wrap, which is pretty cool. You guys will see in just a moment as we review the car. But check out their inventory in the description down below, where you can obviously get a new Land Rover, Jaguar, or this used Model S Plaid. Let's get into the video. And let's just do this all at once. So let's just go over the storage here with the Model S Plaid, and then we'll get into the other exterior elements. So we have the front here, which is nice and practical. Also, this has struts, and once you open it up from the screen, you just have to pick it up. It's super nice, no latch or anything. And if you guys are wondering, what I've been told by a few Model S Plaid owners, and just Model S owners in general, is to close this, you kind of have to press on both sides with both hands. So we'll do that. Well, I'll do that later, but you guys won't see that because I got to hold the camera. Anyways, popping over here to the rear, you guys can see that we've got this cargo cover right here that you can actually flip out. So all you have to do is just pick it up, and then you can flip that out. Really nice with the material use. But you can flip it back so that you can throw stuff back here a little bit easier. And then also there's this extra storage space here. This kind of all fits together, but you can like lift up these individual parts. And there's more storage space and also the charging cable down below. We've got the cloth floor mats as well. And also, since this is a luxury car, the hatch closes by itself, which is pretty cool. Now let's go over the front end of the Model S Plaid. So you guys can see this one has a purple wrap on it. It is the Stradman edition, is the joke I've been making, because he wraps everything in purple. But anyways, you guys can see you've got these really bright reflector LEDs, and then you can see the LED accent light that goes around that. And then we have the fog light just down here, and it has more LED accent lighting with it as well. We've got parking sensors here on the front end. We've got the Tesla logo that's kind of floating there in the center, and everything's closed off here on the front end, which definitely looks cool and futuristic. But overall, even though the Model S is kind of getting old at this point, I still think it's a really good looking car from a front end perspective, especially in purple. It just pops. So let's go over the power and performance figures. So the Model S Plaid now has 3 electric motors, 396 miles of electric range, and then it's got 1,020 horsepower and then 1,050 pound-feet of torque. That allows it to accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 1.9 seconds when you're in optimal conditions, and when you do the drag mode, which you have to like warm up the battery pack and everything for that. We won't be able to do that today because obviously this is less than ideal conditions, and yeah. That's all I gotta say. But there's the performance figures. So coming around the side here, we've got 2 65mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the front, and then 2 95mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the back. And then as for the design on the wheels themselves, it's relatively basic. I think they're a good-looking wheel overall. Now, we have got to talk about the brakes. You have the Tesla calipers, which is great. Now, Tesla does now offer a $20,000 carbon ceramic brake kit upgrade on these cars because a lot of people complained about the cars not having enough braking power. So if you feel like that is a need for you with your Model S Plaid, then you can now get that from Tesla. But these are the standard rotors and everything that comes with the car. And then I love the side profile here on the Model S Plaid. Again, it looks just like a regular Model S, but I mean, I think it's still a really good looking car from a side perspective. Now, popping here to the rear, I love the taillights here with the Model S kind of design, and then how this all connects. It says Tesla there in the center. We have the low profile carbon fiber spoiler, which is, again, definitely like low key. Parking sensors here on the rear, and then you guys can see that everything's pretty clean, and again, it's all about aerodynamics here with this car. So like the whole underbody is pretty much flat, and that's also why the door handles pop in as well. Again, all in the name of aerodynamics. And again, this isn't the best lighting to see this color, but this purple looks really good on the car. There we go. So here's the interior on this Model S. So if you guys are wondering, the original color is black for the car. You've got the wood trim right here, and then you've got the metallic trim down below with the white leather on that. And then you got kind of like the denim right here. This is the window control, and then here are the seats in the rear. So you guys can see that you've got the nice leather here with perforated leather down the seats, and then you've got all the piping and the stitching. And then this is pretty cool here for the rear passengers. So you've got this to control like the climate here in the back, the heated seats as well, which is definitely nice. And it's cool that it's all controlled via that little touchscreen interface. I don't know, I think it's pretty neat. And then also look how it all connects when the door's closed with the wood trim to the back of the seat there. I think that's also nice attention to detail. And I'm trying to not track too much snow in the car, so yeah. Now here's a door panel at the front of the Model S Plaid. Again, you've got the wood trim here with the metallic trim down below and then all of the leather trim. All of our window controls with more leather trim right here. And then this is the regular door opening, and then this is like the emergency one where you like lift it up. So you can use one or the other. I mean, obviously recommend using that on a regular basis, and then the emergency in an emergency. Now I want to close the door to show you guys. There's a camera there. And then you guys can see there's another one here on the front fender. There's lots of cameras on this car. Anyways, opening the door again, you can see the seats here at the front. Pretty simple with the design, but really nice. Perforated leather with the leather here on the side, and then all of the stitching and piping and all that fun stuff. And then you guys can see down below, we've got the Model S logo. Really nice metallic pedals right there, and then more wood trim, metallic trim, and then leather in that area. And then also on the dash, notice that there's leather and stitching. And well, there's one more look before we pop in. So first off, we obviously have the yoke steering wheel, which is very controversial, but I'll talk about that more when we actually drive the car. The thing that I like is there are some controls here on the steering wheel itself. So like the turn signals, for example, are here on the steering wheel. And they're super easy. You just press it, and when you want it off, you just press it again. And then also, for example, like windshield wipers on the steering wheel. I don't know. I like that part of it. And again, we'll have to see when I drive this with the rest of the steering wheel, but yeah, definitely unique. The other thing that I love about the Model S Plaid is the fact you actually get a gauge cluster. A lot of Teslas, they'll put everything in the center screen. I remember my friend's Model Y Performance. When I drove that, I was really annoyed at that. So the fact you actually get this gauge cluster is awesome. So like, for example, if I pop it into drive, notice it all goes to the gauge cluster right there. So that I definitely appreciate. Now, aside from that, you guys know that when you go into the drag mode, right, you guys can see the timer on that, basically. So it has to warm everything up, and so it'll take quite a bit of time to warm that up. So I'm actually going to turn that off. It's really cold outside. If it's warmer, it takes a lot less time. But that's how you get that 1.9 second 0 to 60 is you have to use the drag mode. Now, speaking of drive modes, let's kind of go over everything here in this part of the infotainment system. So this is on the car tab of the Model S. So you've got your controls here. You guys saw this to open up the front and the trunk. And then you guys can see all of the adjustments and everything are here. So like, you know, glove box, for example, that's in the infotainment system to open that up. And we'll just close that back up. You can raise the suspension here from the infotainment system, child lock, all that fun stuff. And then we have like pedals and steering, which you can control everything. And that's how you go to the drag mode. So you press that on. And like I said, it says that, and you can kind of hear it with the startup on that, fun stuff. And then going from that, we've got suspension, so you can customize all this, and then charging. You guys can see here, now it shows us our range and everything. And we're gonna have a lot less range because it's like 20 degrees outside, if you're wondering. And then everything for the autopilot, your locks, lights, and then also display. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can customize in here. It's pretty crazy. You guys can read the rest of the list. But that's the first part of the infotainment system. The next part is if we pop it into reverse. Notice we got a backup camera. It does have trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel, which is great. It's telling me to fasten my seatbelt, funny enough. And so it's actually telling me to fasten my seatbelt, just blocking the camera view, which is interesting. But yeah, I think the camera system is pretty great. I want to go into drive and see if it pops up. Yeah, so it doesn't do camera when you go into drive automatically. It's when you go into reverse, it'll do that. And then you just press this little P up here to go into park. This is unique to me, like having to do this to get into the different gear selections. I know I'd eventually get used to it, but it's definitely different. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, response time with the screen is fantastic. It's pretty easy to use. You just press the little tabs down here and everything pops up that you can use on the screen. And overall, I think it's a pretty good system. It's easy to use. Dash cam is unavailable, apparently. And then also you can play the games as well, just like with the Model 3, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, you've got the shortcut buttons here at the bottom for anything that you'd want to use. And you guys can see here for like the volume and then like the climate controls as well. So everything's integrated into the touchscreen. So some of you might like that. Some of you might not like that because you literally, I mean, other than like the buttons on the steering wheel, you don't have physical buttons for anything here in the Tesla Model S Plaid. And then you guys saw here, this is where you touch the little key card thing to start up the car. And then I like the hazard light button, how it's like on this giant panel. It's pretty interesting. And then we have wood trim that kind of covers this storage area, and then more wood trim in this area. One thing I will say that my friend did with his Model 3 is he actually wrapped all this wood trim with just carbon fiber. Literally just did vinyl wrap, and it made the interior look a lot sportier. So I would kind of recommend that. Now the center console is interesting. So it's magnetic with the holding. I don't know why my camera doesn't want to focus for some reason. So it's kind of interesting. So you might like kind of pull it and you're like, it doesn't want to pull up. So you just have to muscle it a little bit. And then we do have a traditional mirror, which I thought is interesting. I thought that they do like a camera mirror, something like that. Tesla's supposed to be like the forefront of technology, and they still don't have a camera mirror system. And then you guys can see the sun visors here, which definitely nice material wise for the whole headliner. Sorry, it's kind of dark, so it's hard to see, but really nice. It goes over the pillars as well. You guys can see it on the pillars a little bit better. And then we obviously have the glass roof, which is another nice function here with the Model S. But overall, I think they did a pretty good job from an interior perspective with the material use. Now, if you want the most up-to-date pricing on this particular Model S Plaid, like I said, I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below. That being said, let's take this thing out and drive it. So let's talk about visibility before we set off. There's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. It's going to be a longer drive than normal compared to what I usually do on the channel, because I mean, this is an exciting car. This will probably be the only time that I'll ever be able to drive a Model S Plaid, so I'm taking full advantage of it. Also, the suspension raise came in clutch because there's quite a bit of snow, and so I was able to raise it up and get over it, which is definitely nice. So first off, driving this car, pretty interesting. This is my first time actually ever driving a Model S. It's funny how it works with my channel. It's like I will have never driven a car, and then the one chance that I get to drive it, I end up driving like the craziest, most high performance version of that car. Also, that BMW is stuck as it gets. Anyways, this feels like a regular car. The acceleration isn't crazy or anything when you're just, kind of going around town. And I'm in the chill mode. The regenerative braking is pretty aggressive, I will say that. But yeah, I mean, it just pretty much feels like just any other regular car. Does take a second to get used to. I haven't driven an electric car in quite some time, and so getting used to, just pretty much one pedal driving does take a second. Yeah, it is noisy though, I will say that. Because you don't have an engine or anything, you do get just quite a bit more noise from like the tires and everything else. Okay, so continuing along, we're gonna like accelerate in chill mode. Yeah, I mean, that was like not even full throttle, but still in chill mode. It's pretty manageable. It's not crazy or anything like that. It's chill, like the name suggests, funny enough. So we are a little bit farther along, and something I learned about the chill mode is it is like seriously not crazy at all. Like, look, full throttle. Like, that's quick. Don't get me wrong, that's quick. But they definitely like tone things down a massive amount for the chill mode. So like if you have, someone that's, needs to drive this car and you're a little bit concerned, then you just throw it in the chill mode and you don't have to worry. They won't be able to do anything crazy. Now we're gonna go from that to sport, and I want to see what the difference is, and we're actually gonna get in the interstate a little bit, and that's where we're gonna go into like the full-on Plaid mode. Steering feels heavier in the sport mode. Okay, whoa. Yeah, so partial throttle, goodness, oh my gosh, partial throttle in sport mode is way more hardcore than full throttle in chill mode. Just to give you guys an idea of the difference between the two drive modes, it is just crazy. Wow, I've got a headache now. Okay, we're in sport mode here. Okay. I see you, Tesla. Wow. Man, that is a head rush if I have ever had one. Goodness gracious. And that's not the Plaid mode, and that's not the drag strip mode. That's just like, you know what, I'm at the stoplight and just wanna, you know, wow. Yeah, the passing power of this thing is phenomenal. You know, when you're on your regular highway commute, if you need to pass someone, you'll definitely be able to do it. I am kind of scared to go into Plaid mode after that is already, okay, Plaid mode. Okay, this is just partial throttle in Plaid mode because we got another red light up here. Plus, we need the interstate for what we're gonna, oh my, this thing is scary. Wow. It's, this is a handful. This is quite the handful. My goodness. Yeah, and quite a bit of wind noise and tire noise and everything. And again, it's just because there's no engine to block out that noise. So I hear that so much more. The suspension's really good though. Like, it's actually really compliant. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting the suspension to be kind of harsh, but that is not the case here with the Plaid. Also, I am like more white knuckle than I ever have been with any car. Like, this thing is intense, and it gets really good grip. But yeah, it's got an intensity to it just because of how crazy the acceleration is. Now I'm gonna kind of create quite a bit of space. Whoa, okay, I understand what people are talking about with the brakes on this car. I understand now, and I'm a little bit sick to my stomach from that acceleration. Oh man, I don't know if cars should be this fast. That is just on a whole nother level. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know, like, don't get me wrong, this thing's cool, but like, just it's instant. Like, obviously, like, you get instant power and torque from the electric motors, but like, it's just, it is instantaneous. Like, it is, I've never experienced acceleration like this before. There's nothing that I can even compare this to. And this is coming from someone who owns a 700 horsepower pickup truck. Wow. This thing is just intense. This, I understand what people have been saying about this. This thing is just on a whole nother level. And it's just like, it just shoots. My goodness. I don't even, I need a second, guys. Okay, so we're gonna give this another acceleration. Just bonkers. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say. I have never, like, I know I've said this a million times, I've just never experienced anything quite like this. It's just, and I mean, because there's no sound, like, it doesn't come onto camera very well, right? Because when I'm driving most vehicles, when you have the engine just roaring, right, you guys can get a sense of the speed. But this car, you really cannot get a sense of the speed unless you're in it, and you're just, it's just, this is insane. This is the craziest car I have ever driven, and the fact that this is legal is just, I don't even know what to say. Like, the fact that you can just, if you have enough money, you can just go and you can order one of these. I can't comprehend that. Like, I don't know, I honestly don't know what to do with that in my mind. Okay, so we have this on-ramp. I want to get on a little bit higher up so I can kind of get out of this slushy stuff. Because again, this thing is just bonkers with the acceleration. Okay, well, wish me luck. Oh my goodness. Yep, this should not, okay, I can see the brake thing. Okay. Yeah, there is not enough brake with this. With how fast this accelerates, I can understand why they released the carbon fiber ceramics with this from Tesla. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is a rush. So yeah, let's sum things up here with this Model S Plaid. Hopefully that was enough accelerations to give you guys an idea of what this is like. And again, like 20 degrees outside, 28 degrees, okay? It's like what this performs like in, you know, super nasty conditions. Yeah. So first off, the Model S, like I said, it's a pretty old car at this point, right? But I still think it looks good to this day. I think it's a good looking car. Interior wise, it's very simplistic. The materials are pretty nice. I think they should have gone for like a sporty theme instead of like, you know, wood trim and everything. Because again, this is a crazy high performance sedan, and that was horrible. I pressed the wrong button. Anyways, yeah, I think they should have done a little bit more with the interior. And aside from that, you guys know performance is crazy. I guess what I have to say is if you buy one of these, just be careful. Like, you know, it gets really good grip. Like you guys can see it grips, just always grips. And that was partial throttle, by the way, partial throttle. Goodness, it always grips. But again, the brakes, like when you're kind of around town, like if you just do like a quick, you know, like you just get up to like 40-50 miles an hour, you'll be fine. But like once you get up into those higher speeds with this car, it just, you can really feel like you're pressing into the pedal and there's just not enough happening. So yeah, like I said, just be careful with this thing. It's tons of fun, but I would say if you've got the money to buy one of these, you probably have the money to buy the carbon ceramics. I'd recommend going that route, because it's crazy. And I guess the one thing I have to say is this is the one car that it doesn't get bored with the accelerations, like every single time. Like it's such a head rush, but like it's always exciting. It's always exciting. So I think Tesla did I mean, for a first attempt at like the world's fastest accelerating car, they did amazing. They just didn't give enough brakes, but man, this thing's special. Now let's get some things up for a video on the new Tesla Model S Plaid. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover Jaguar here in downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Tesla. Check out their inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in that next video.